I don't think that's too much to ask.
I don't think you ought to be doing this to yourself, Andy. This is just shitty pipe dreams. I mean, Mexico is way the hell down there, and you're in here, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, right. That's the way it is. It's down there, and I'm in here. I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living, or get busy dying.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another week of Muskies on Tap. Welcome to episode number 107. We got this one coming out right before the Minnesota opener. I know we have a bunch of listeners from Minnesota who are getting prepared and getting ready for their opener, which I think I checked out the calendar. It's like the second latest it can ever be. So I'm sure everybody's completely amped and probably snuck over to Wisconsin, I'm sure, to get their fixins in the last 2 weeks. But without further ado, let's introduce the other Mott crew we have on here tonight. And our guest is basically one of the Mott crew as well. We've had him on many a time. So I'll start off first tonight with none other than my brother Max. Max, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing well. I feel like I gotta almost come on here with a State of the Union, if you will, apologizing to our third co-host here, Brian Eckel, for my behavior on our last episode. Guy's just getting reached out to. Apparently, he's like the most sympathetic figure of all time. People siding
Yeah.
with him, telling
I got a
Brian
colony out there.
not to listen to us anymore, not to
You
take
do
the
have a
shit that we
following.
were giving him. Just incredible support there for our other co-hosts. But yeah, no, I'm happy to be here tonight. Always love having Alex on. Got a lot of things to chat with him about. Some fishing he's already done, what he's got on the docket here for Minnesota opener. But before we get to him, let's bring him on here. Third co-host, Mr. Brian Eckel. Brian, how we doing this evening?
I'm doing terrific. It's been blazing hot here the last couple days. Got a nice big storm this evening coming through. Full summer swing now. Those humidity storms at night. It's a nice thing to see. But yeah, I appreciate everybody taking my back there this past week after I just got absolutely molested last podcast.
Jesus.
For those of you that still have faith in me, catch one in the glide. I will say it's probably unlikely. I've really started to hate those things, but I'm not going to give it up yet. I will throw them
Sure,
again,
sure.
a couple more times maybe throughout the year. So stay tuned if that ever happens. But yeah, like Max said, a lot to talk about here with Mr. Alex McLean, Minnesota opener on the corner. Sounds like he's got a big day planned with a big squad of people out there. So without further ado, I don't know how many times you've been on the pod now, five maybe, somewhere around there,
It's a
ballpark.
good amount.
But
4 or
Alex, how we
Something
doing?
five.
like that, yeah. How's it going, fellas? Doing great tonight. Yeah, just it's the week of opener over here, so just getting pumped and sharpening hooks daily and prepping baits and having a good time. Yeah, can't wait. We've
That's
got
awesome.
we've got a big group of guys, a lot of musky battle guys and friends, all in the same cabin this year out on Mille Lacs. So doing the Mille Lacs gig again. And feeling pretty good about everything conditions wise too. So can't wait.
Yeah, if you've probably been checking it out, what's the conditions over there in Minnesota on opening day?
So I'm personally expecting a much better opener than we had last year. I mean, last year we had that March ice out throughout most of the state, which is unseasonably way early. And this year we had
Hmm.
pretty average year, if not a little bit later. And despite the really hot weather, we've got pretty cool water temps. And from what people are seeing, talking about, fish are definitely up there for that shallow water bite. So really excited to get the baits moving. So
If you turn back the clock to last year, I know you said it was an early ice out. I assume a lot warmer water last opener. How'd you do last year, and what were those fish doing in those conditions?
Last year was so probably in the last decade in terms of like, that those back bay type bites and that super shallow bite. It was the hardest year we've had probably in the last decade. Very few fish caught, and we're doing Mille Lacs because it's no secret. I mean, the fish are up in the shallows. They spawn in some of those bays and throughout the different areas throughout the lake that are tucked in the corners. But um, it was tough for everybody. I talked to probably 30 people last year, and nobody caught more than one or two fish the entire opening weekend. And no big fish either last year on opening weekend. A lot of those big females had already vacated out into the vast abyss where they are kind of untouchable throughout the season until that late season Cisco spawn. But this year, I expect there to be more fish hanging around with these cooler water temps, despite the warm air temps we've had the last 2 weeks. Everything is still setting up good for opener. So, and that's kind of statewide. Up here in my neck of the woods in Bemidji, the fish are definitely going to be very shallow, just barely post spawn. Some fish probably still pairing up here and there as well. So that should be good too when I get back home.
What's the program on Mille Lacs with the whatever they are, they're staging spawning fish up super shallow, whether they're pre or post spawn. But I mean, is it super slow baits? Is it just, your typical bucktails? Are they reacting to speed?
Yeah, I mean it's I'd say it's a pretty good variety bait wise. It's definitely, what we've noticed is, it's very moon oriented, very window oriented. When you're fishing around a whole lot of people out there on opener, and when one person gets it, gets a fish in the bag, everybody knows right away. And then it's just a chain reaction due to the open window. Always works like that out there. Fish, I mean, fish like speed. But at the same time, we've done real good working really slow gliders. I'm going to
Hmm.
be mixing and matching between torch and bucktails and slow glide baits mostly is typical program out there. But a lot of things work. Guys have caught these opener fish are coming and going from these bays. Pairing up, leaving. Some sliding out to the weed edges, some up tight to shorelines, and some just making their way out. So I expect a lot of activity, but you have to play little bumper boats as well.
Right. I mean,
Yeah,
it makes sense trying to get a reaction bite out of a fish, or with the cleaner water, you might have to present something a little bit more natural, rather than some places around opener have really dirty water, and you can get away with a giant bucktail or something like that. Honestly, just to get them to feel that. We've never been to Mille Lacs. I assume it's pretty gin clear this time of year.
very. Yeah, it's just, I mean, in terms of especially like, back bay fishing and shallow water fishing, it's as clear as you can find anywhere in the US. It's gin clear. Sometimes when they're on those shallower rocks uh and sandy areas, you can sight fish them. I mean, there's you see YouTube videos all over the place, guys just sight fishing them out there on opener too. So
Is
Have
there a
you
lot of those? Oops, sorry. Is there a lot
go
of
ahead.
those like fish that you see and try to sight fish that just are totally like non-reactive to your baits? Because whenever it feels
complete,
like,
I don't know how guys do it, honestly.
yeah,
Like I've tried sight fishing those fish out there, and it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, I've mix of presentations, and but occasionally they just decide to lose their mind and go. And I mean, it's not an experience that I have too often out there, but yeah, I see some pretty cool videos every spring of those fish reacting, up in the ultra shallows. So
I remember when we were last November out on Tonka, we saw a pretty sizable fish in like 3 feet of water just slowly meandering, and like you could put a bait right in front of it. It wouldn't spook, it wouldn't have any interest in it. It would just keep going on its way. So I imagine a
that's
lot of
that's
those are
pretty
like that.
standard. Yeah, that's pretty standard. But those fish can
Yeah.
have a window of mindlessness too, though at times though, and just come unglued. So that's what we hope.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. There's like a bit. Oh, one thing I was gonna ask, honestly, but I'm not sure. Like you said, sight fishing is probably not as easy as it sounds. I was gonna ask about like a jig or something like that. I'm sure you maybe have tried it, like a small to medium musky jig, but
Yep.
that seems
Yep. Tried
tough.
those. I don't know, it's just the fish, it's just the nature of those fish out there. Those stock fish, they're very boat shy and intelligent, and it's just super moon window oriented when they decide to just, okay, we're gonna go now, and that's all it is. Just wait patiently and keep putting in your casts, and eventually things will happen. So,
So is this a midnight start then? Opening, I guess morning you'd call it for a lot of people on Mille Lacs.
yep. Yep. I think we're heading into the full moon, which I think is Tuesday or Wednesday this year. So a couple days before the full moon, myself and a bunch of other guys, yeah, we'll be out there at the midnight bell for sure.
Oof. Jeez.
Yeah.
Is that a full day shift then, or how does that look for you guys fishing that opening day? I mean, what
It get,
what's the protocol?
yeah, it gets harder every year for me to just do those 16-hour pushers, but we'll see. I mean, a boat nap here and there, probably. Conditions look pretty stable, at least on opening day as of right now. Low
Mhm.
70 temps, comfortable, moderate wind, everything's setting up pretty nice. Following day, looks like we're going to get some heavy wind and storms and stuff, but as of right now, everything looks pretty stable. That storm that you guys got last night or today, I think, or whenever it was, we got yesterday, which finally got us out of the 80s, and nice big cool down
Mhm.
here, and things are kind of stabilizing throughout the rest of the week, and this coming week opener, it's setting up pretty nicely. So
Yeah, I don't know about you, but when I went outside last night and even in this morning too, and I was on my way to work and I was like, man, it feels fishy out here right now, down in the cities at least. Like
Hazy
it
sky.
got me pretty excited for for opener.
same. Oh yeah, I was
Yeah,
feeling exactly the same. We got a whole lot of smoke up here from Canada, and
yeah.
that and
Oh
that like
yeah.
that blew out today and yesterday. I could just feel the pressure, the temp drop, and everything just
Yes.
felt so juicy. And I was like, man, because this is typically the weekend that we have opener, or
Right.
last weekend. This is
Yeah.
like the 1 year every 7 years or whatever, where it gets pushed out to like the seventh or the eighth or whatever it is this year. I think it's the seventh, but so it's a little bit later than usual for opener, but I don't know. I feel good. I feel good statewide. I mean, I heard that you might be down there in the southern part of Minnesota chucking around, and I feel pretty good if I was you too on that. So,
Yeah, I think we're bitching out, as the kids would say.
oh, that's a mistake.
Unfortunately, yeah, I know. It's I think I think we're doing it more so for the convenience factor. Unfortunately, I don't know. We'll see. We got a couple more days here till the opening bell, so you never know. Plans can always change. But yeah, my boat partner, Mr. Ryan Becker, coming up from Iowa, and me being in the cities, I think we might just do a convenience day on Saturday, unfortunately. But we'll see. I got
I hear you.
I got fortunate to do a lot of fishing for the Wisconsin opener. So as we've talked about, sometimes you just got to choose your spots, if you will, when you're able to get out and do a bunch of fishing. So. We'll see though. You never know. Speaking of not Mille Lacs fishing, you were able to get out for the Wisconsin Northern Opener. We were talking a little bit about that before we started recording. And then also we obviously got to hang out down in Cave Run and do that whole deal. So before we dive into some more Minnesota stuff, I got to pick your brain. What were your thoughts on Cave? What were your thoughts on Wisconsin? We didn't really get to fully hear your thoughts on those two things quite yet.
Yeah, yeah. Cave Run. First time ever visiting there, and there's so much hearsay, so much talk about Cave Run, the challenges it presents, and uh, un, it was a beautiful area. I loved it. The trip was smooth sailing from Minnesota. The the uh the 21-foot high reservoir fishing was definitely new to me. That is some fishing that I have never experienced before. Nothing even close to that really. So we definitely had to do some brain picking and a whole lot of searching and uh a whole lot of learning. It was a big learning process for us, and I feel really good about it now. To where if I was we didn't catch any fish in the tournament, and that's all right. I mean, but we definitely learned everything I feel like we needed to, and if we were to go back, I'd feel a lot more confident. We feel like we figured it all out with 25 minutes left in the tournament. We got on pods of fish. We had chances. There was just so much going on around us. We watched a guy catch one right next to us, and we really got on the fish there with 30 minutes to go in the tournament, but just couldn't make it happen. Um, and we knew what they were doing. I think you guys kind of slid in right after we made the mistake of leaving one spot, and made things happen
There's room for
there.
more.
Yeah, there's
We
room.
were
Yeah,
only
I
jigging, so you could have
see.
jigged right next to
It's
us.
it. Yeah, it's that level of uncomfortability, I guess, in terms of boats and people is not in my bloodstream. I don't want to be within 1,000 yards of another boat all the time. That's everywhere I go. And so I have to adapt to that, for those styles of tournaments when we know where the fish are, but and just realize that the window will open, but we didn't stick around and it didn't pay out for us at the end. But anyways, I actually have learned to really respect that lake, and I would love to go back. I would have no problem going back and giving it a second go because I learned more. I learned a lot, and I had a fun time. Um, and then in terms of Wisconsin, got out for a quick day shift, and or full day shift. I guess it was about a 13-hour outing just across the border for Minnesota here, and it felt really good to warm up the sticks. We really gave it. Buddy ended up losing a nice fish right at the boat side, right at the end of Moon. After we were fishing a really recreational lake, so day was kind of a struggle. A lot of party boats out there and bobbing and weaving, but then I ended up ending the night with a real quality, healthy, big mid 40s greenie. So that kind of topped everything off. Had to, shook off the rust for me, and looking forward to getting going here in Minnesota now.
What was your I know you caught that one late at night. I think you said around 11 p.m. What was your game plan there? Were you throwing blades at all, rubber? What were they
Well,
reacting
we
to?
we had found, the pods of fish during the day, and I got a couple to come out and just real lazy. Smart. The water was very clear, and it's a dirty lake that we were fishing, but for whatever reason, early season hadn't really bloomed yet. So we had very clear water, which I like, especially for fishing after dark. But we had found a couple pods of, two spots that had about 6 fish on them. And so our plan was just to wait till things taper down with all the boats, party boats leaving, jet skis, everything like that, and which is kind of lined up with Moon there at the end of the night, and so we just hit those spots nice and slow, working real slow baits, and we were actually using my buddy's paddle tails because I was out fishing with him, and he makes those trophy systems paddle tail baits, and just working them real slow right over the weed tops, and yeah, he hooked up, and we dumped his fish just a couple feet from the net. A little bit of a heartbreaker to start the night, but then 3 to 5 casts after that, mine just got engulfed out on the cast, and so it kind of made and ended our night. We were pretty exhausted. My trolling motor batteries actually ended up dying because I hadn't charged them for a long time, but and that ended our night right after. But yeah, we were just work. If we would have stayed out there, I feel like we could have got a couple more maybe to come out and play because these things started happening there. But
Can you remind me at least? I don't remember exactly how you set up your boat for night fishing. Do you use any sort of lighting, or do you have just like a ticker in the line? How do you have like, you know, uh,
Indication of
yeah,
figure eight.
indication for like a good figure eight?
just feel, just
Just
adapt
natural.
and feel.
Doing it a
Yeah,
lot.
doing it a lot.
Practice.
Yeah, the water's clear. I
Athlete.
mean, yeah, a lot of guys will put those rubber glow beads on the top of the leader in Minnesota, which are nice. They do work too, in terms of indicator coming in into the figure eight. I just kind of adapt and yeah, I smash the tips every now and then. Just it is what it is. But there's some
Oh yeah.
people that will say that that actually triggers a fish coming in.
It's that
I've
extra
heard it. I've
bump.
heard it. Yeah, I've heard it. I mean, I've heard it, but um, yeah, I mean, we occasionally will use a soft red headlamp. In terms of lighting, that's all I'm really comfortable with. That's in terms of fishing with headlamps, I would say that clearwater fish are definitely they negatively respond to LED lights, I think. At least that's kind of what it feels like after trying
Mhm.
everything, throughout the years. But a soft light, red light, I've caught a lot of fish in the eight on a soft red light. So I'm that's what we use real late into the night sometimes casting.
Is it super dim in the water? Like you can still barely see it come into the eight?
Yeah, it's dim. I keep everything as dim as possible. I mean, when you got that super clear water, those fish are very, very, you know, boat shy and any lighting, and they just don't like it. I mean, there's guys that, but on the other side of the script here, there are guys that run like huge light strips on the outside of their boat and just constantly have a flow of light, and it's pretty cool. I mean, I've seen fish, you know, come into those and eat in those. So everyone has a different opinion on it, I feel. Um, but I don't know. I like things to be as dim as possible. Quiet, stealth, noise is definitely a big deal after dark on clear lakes too. Just got to be quiet and stealthy. Working the trolling motor, I'll just shut it off all the time. I mean, that's just my opinion, but
Hey, Gus, I see you're laughing over there, we gotta
For good reason.
proceed with caution here because our counterpart's very sensitive these days. But
Yeah, we do need to
what's
kind of
got you
hold off
chuckling?
on
What's
them.
got you chuckling over there, Gus? When Alex talked about being quiet.
If I think I
No,
know what it is, it wasn't dark yet.
I mean, all right. So here we go. We got our opener. We've already discussed this a little bit. We even talked the week before, like, hey, we're gonna do some night fishing on probably opening night because, like Alex said, there's that great moon phase. It was like 9:30 to 11:30 or something like that. And so yeah, we go into the night. We had the battery issues. All our graphs were completely off. Everything was pitch black. And I got Brian, old big stepper, Stompy, McStomp, light on constantly, switching baits per usual, staring me in the face, me yelling at him going, "What?" I'm like, "Shut that damn thing off. I'm
Shutting the
blind.
wrecking
I
rag.
can't."
Okay, I'll eat those. I thought you were gonna talk shit about the globe again.
No, 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 you didn't. No, that was before
I'm
night.
about to
We're
I'm
we're
about to
over that.
ask that guy to come on the pod if you keep talking shit about it.
He's not coming on our podcast. He fucking hates this show.
Damn.
Right. We'll catch fish on that globe some point, just not on opening weekend when it's really cold and dropping
No,
to
it's just
35 that night.
you're noisy ass, and you're the one who's always like, "We got a night fish, guys. We got a night fish."
And then you
Yeah,
get
well,
out there and you are just,
you guys gotta learn. All
Oh,
right.
my back,
Now
you
I
gotta
know.
learn.
my back,
Yeah, here we go. Get it out. Get it
I
out.
my back, guys.
I'm gonna night
Got a
fish
To
solo
be
headache.
this
fair,
year.
Max, to be fair, you did wave the white flag and say like, all right, let's just go
Well,
in.
because every damn fish on the lake knew exactly where we were at because you're slamming bait boxes and you're breaking down your rod on the bottom of the boat. And here
Yeah,
Alex
that
is
was the
talking about
best
being stealthy.
indicator.
Being stealthy, being quiet.
We weren't
All
gonna
right.
go in yet until Brian took his rod, took the bait off, shut the wrecking rack really loudly, and then was just stomping his telescopic rod in the bottom of the boat. I'm
Okay.
like, oh, so we're going in now? No, 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 we're not yet, not yet. It's like, all right, we're not gonna catch shit now. So, um, so yeah, that was why I was giggling. But Alex, I have a question for you. So with the stern light and the nav lights. What do you do for that? Obviously, you got to stay legal. My new boat kind of has some pretty damn bright ones.
That shine
Um,
directly into the water.
yeah, and they're definitely LED. They're not, they're built into the sides of the boat, so they're just like down in the water pretty
Yeah,
heavily.
gotta stay legal, but I mean, there's a lot of answers to this too. Like you can
Yeah,
find some like translucent tape, something that just allows light to still come out, which is kind of what I
mm,
have on there. But it still, you know, dims it a
okay.
little bit. And then, so there's some guys that will put socks, super thin socks over them, but I think that's a little bit too far because I don't know what the rate. I honestly don't know exactly what the light amount of regulation is. You know how much light you have to have uh,
Yeah,
coming out, but there's definitely like a lot that goes on in night fishing out here with like trying to contain the lights. Guys will move their lights. A lot of guys have their lights like on top of their motors now, and more in the center of their boat instead of off the. I mean mine's on my um starboard side
starboard.
too. So
Yeah,
I
same
always
here.
fish port side, so it doesn't really
Yep.
affect anything. And I'll tilt it sometimes so it just kind of like blinds the water back there instead of my whole boat.
Hmm.
Um,
That's what I've done on the stern one on the starboard side. I've actually just done, which I don't know if you can exactly do that. Just put a tiny bit of electrical tape, like only on the side that would shine directly at me in the
yep,
back,
yep,
but it's still
I've done that
shining
too.
full brightness around the whole thing. Um, Obviously, block out every single little thing from your trolling motor pedal and whatnot, because that'll just blind you. No, I was just
Really,
genuinely curious on that because I know that there's, you know, a limit you can do for lighting.
Yeah, I do that.
Sure.
I've done that too. I use a little bit of hockey tape, that like kind of stretchy hockey tape that you can still kind of see through
Oh yeah.
on my side, so it doesn't blind my side. And the same thing for my trolling motor. That's what I'll put on my trolling motor because then I can still see the lights a little bit, but not enough to cause a problem.
Hmm.
But
Would you have Brian? You want to chime in there?
no, it's really just your green light up front that's like a damn stage light. I mean, you can see 3 feet
It
down with
is.
that puppy. It's
I
nice, but yeah, I
know.
don't know if it helps.
I know. I think I got to work on that. I mean, obviously, I want to stay legal out there, especially if I'm on a busier lake. Because coming up here in the summer, I mean, there's some lakes that just never sleep, depending where I'm at. Um, but yeah, that sounds good. Those are good tips. I mean, I'll night fish more. Probably will more solo. Sorry, Brian.
No, no, no.
You just gotta get a little more used to it. But no, that sounds good. But yeah, later here in the month, we do have. I know we just talked about Cave Run PMTT, but Alex and his fishing partner Ryan Becker will be staying with us, and we're pretty pumped for that. I know Ryan has fished the chain, but it'll be your first time, Alex, and you've only been to this area one other time in last year's battle, so this will definitely
yep,
be interesting. I don't know if you have
on
any
the chain,
thoughts on it.
yeah. I mean, I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I know. I mean, just on the basis that in terms of tournament fishing, that it is going to be better than Cave Run went. Um,
It
so
should. If it's not,
yeah,
that's a really big problem.
yeah, no.
Be very
Probably watch where I
surprised.
Um,
guide then, because
no, it's going to
yeah.
be a good time. I mean, the thing that gets me going the most with tournament fishing isn't, you know, necessarily the tournaments itself. It's the camaraderie around it and getting the guys together, BS and learning new things. And that side of fishing. But yeah, I'm excited. I always love fishing new water. I love learning things like that. I love breaking it down, and just that's a big part of what musky fishing is, and just putting pieces together to try to make something happen. So I know my tournament partner's got an okay amount of experience out there, so he'll be able to lead us the way. We're um, a little bit here, and yeah, I'm really excited. New water and uh, new opportunity. So
Sweet. Well, we're excited to have you down here, or over here, I should say. I don't know why I keep saying that, but yeah, we'll go check out whatever. I mean, we might even do a little bit of night fishing or something, off the chain and just do a little fun fishing because, you guys are well, you're able to do a little work, but I mean, you guys are traveling and taking off of work, so you want to have some, fun fishing out of it rather than just the tournament fishing. But I know I love that part about tournaments, the challenge and learning new stuff. I mean, even Max and I going into home water, I'm sure we got to go into it with like a, 50-50 on open mind and, prior knowledge, basically based on temps and what the lakes are looking like. So I'm pumped.
yep, I think it's going to be a pretty busy leg too. I don't know if they've completely filled the field, but I think it's up
It
there pretty
might.
good. Yeah.
Last time I was here in June, it was over full, potentially. They for sure got to 125 boats, so I bet you they get that. There's going to be a ton of local people that are not on the full trail that will do this tournament. There always is. I mean, there's a lot of sticks from this area that used to do the PMTT a lot, so I bet you, or they typically do like local tournaments like the Spring Classic or Paul's Pro-Am or another tournament that's on Three Lakes chain. So yeah, it could be a shootout and it might be tough for, I don't know, for some people, but it also could be lights out. I'm not quite sure, to be honest. See how this year's shaping up. So far the weeds on the chain they're looking pretty much right on par for what they should be this time of year. The water's still clean. Could dirty up by then. I've seen it where it stays clean until about 4th of July, so that could reshape things, but it also could go to like 2 foot visibility in a matter of a few days if the boat traffic is right or the water's flow is low, or it all depends. I think that one year it stayed clear for a while. We had a lot of rain, which sounds surprising, but it actually flushed out the chain a ton because the water was moving through it constantly. And then the one year it got dirty really early is when we had like no rain and the lakes were stagnant and everything like just turned to mud brown for a while. So we'll see how it goes now, but I'm thinking both chains will be in good condition. So
Thinking gnarly bug hatch.
there should be. I was gonna bring that up into a uh to a current event that's going on actually. Saw the first mayfly hatch last night.
Oh,
So
wow.
and a couple of the big ones hatching. So keep that in mind. We'll see what this big rain does to it. I'll be back out, every day following just to see what's going on, but everyone keep that in mind. That could go on for a week or two, that could go on for a month. Um, I'm not really sure. It has not happened on the chain yet, though. I saw it not on the chain. So, and from who I talked to who fished the chain on opening Muskie League, I don't think it's happened quite yet. Last year, it never happened at all. So we will see.
Hmm.
That'll
Cool.
definitely change the dynamics.
Should we break her up a little and hit some of these on the lines we got sent in?
We do. Yeah, we have a couple to get through, and honestly, thanks for bringing that up, Ryan. Let's hit up the first one right now, which has everything to do with you. Um,
Oh,
we got
who could
this
this
one
be?
from our very own Phil Stadola. So
He
I'm
sent
just
in
gonna.
two 10 minutes apart.
He sent in two, yeah, but this next one is short. I'm gonna play them one after the other, so don't fully answer this first one because the second one ties into. I think he meant to send it all as one. So Let's let her rip.
What's up, boys? This is Phil from Green Bay calling in on the Mott line. I just wanted to check in on our boy Brian Eccles. Man, that guy was not catching strays last week. He was just getting the clip emptied on him. I want to tell you, Brian, these guys giggled a little bit when you talked about coming to Green Bay for the opener. There's a spot open in the boat. You can come down here. You can chase big fish. And I'm not going to tell you that you suck at running a glide bait. And in fact, you don't even have to run a glide bait. I mean, brutal. Just brutal. You guys are really giving it to him, Brian. I feel you. I get the same treatment. I was giggling. I was thinking it when Clayton said it, that Brian and I might be the exact same guy. I talked on the Musky Hunks podcast this week about living in parallel universes. I think that's kind of the deal with Brian and I, just living in parallel universes. But like I said, this is a safe place. You can come down here, throw a glide bait if you want. I usually throw a glide bait for about as long as I can hold my breath, and then I take it off. So that's a good rule for the boat if you're interested. But anyway, just shout out Brian. Shout out Musky Hunks. Shout out Nate from Pittsburgh. Yeah. Have a good week, boys.
Oh,
good.
Man. There you go,
I like
Brian.
that
You got
rule.
somebody on your side.
I knew he would be. I mean, he got a glide bait named after him because he hates him so much. So I knew that was my guy.
Yeah. So actually, with that being said, with the naming of the glide bait, let's play his next one that fully ties into that.
One more thing, Nick Ambrose, if you're out there listening, and I know you are, you dirty little dog. I think they brought it up last week. I think I've heard some rumblings of a second glide bait coming out. I think instead of being the Phil 2.0, that's got to be called the Brian. Just saying, it would be an honor to share a glide bait with another glide bait hater brother like myself. So, Nick, shout out, Hammer Customs, hammer, hammer, hammer.
How do you feel about
Damn.
that, Brian?
I mean, the ball's in your court, Nick. I would be honored to have a glide bait named after me that I never catch a fish on. That'd be quite the privilege.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's what Phil's got. He's got the glide bait named right after him with two L's. Not really sure why Nick added the extra L. He'll probably just end up spelling your name wrong and use a Y instead of an I
Yeah.
and
That's
call it the
probably me.
Brian.
Brian with a Y.
Brian with the Y.
Maybe next opener or maybe in the weeks surrounding it, I'll have to hit up Green Bay. I mean, if it's anything like this year,
Oh yeah.
I think we'd
You
all be
live
foolish.
15 minutes away.
What am I gonna do? Put on the waiters?
I mean, you just
Hit
got an
up
open
Phil.
invite.
I just got an invite,
Couple
but I
other
just found
guys.
out about it, and now the bite's probably over.
Well, you don't think people catch muskies on Green Bay?
Not until August. You know the season's there, brother.
There's- I think you could
Dead
find a
for a while
way.
now.
You could find a way to hop out there this weekend, honestly. If you put your mind to it and ask one of them, I bet you somebody's going out. Or at least dude, those guys go like walleye fishing, salmon trolling. I mean,
That would be funny. The one time I don't take my rod home with me and I leave it with you is when I go out
yeah, right.
fishing.
Just ask them to troll, do your favorite thing.
Yeah, yeah. Gliding and trolling.
There you go. Yeah. No, I don't know if the bite will fully be still going, to be honest. I myself actually snuck down there this last weekend with good buddy Clayton, who we just had on the other week, and it was pretty darn good. I mean, we fished the Fox, and water temps were still in like the mid 60s by the time we left, and there was still a lot of fish in there, a lot of fish being caught by our friends, and we were able to. We fished really hard. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like a gimme. It's not like we just showed up and fish just like went in the net from just fishing or whatever very easily, but we were able to land three. Um, uh, Pretty cool thing about actually all three catches. The first one on Friday night, I got a nice low 40s. That was my first ever Great Lakes spotted fish. That took me about 8 or 9 times going to Green Bay. So they really just do not give them up easy at all. All of my times were August and one time trolling in early fall. But so that was pretty sweet. Our second catch was
Did
Jamie
you
got a.
did you do the 8-9 stagger program or 7-8 stagger?
Oh, I forgot to mention that one I caught on a Big O's spinnerbait.
Shout out.
So
Shout out.
that was actually pretty cool. I'll probably post that video. Jamie saw porpoise. It was pretty much like we sight fished in, 1 foot visibility of water. Jamie saw porpoise. I chuck a cast at it because I was in and he was way out in the cast. And I roll in. I could barely see it on the first turn. It was just flying in, and I got it on like the third turn, I think. And I added like a little trailer hook, and it was barely just in the upper lip on the one single trailer hook when we netted it. And I looked back at the footage, and the fish actually inhaled the entire spinnerbait. But I think when I set the hook, it still had its mouth open. So I just pulled it out, and the last hook hit it because I'm like, dang, that thing nipped it. And I look back at the footage, it had the thing engulfed. It's insane what you can see in the video rather than musky blackout on what you think you saw, which is incredible. I mean, it's totally different. There's a whole thing on Clayton's big fish of the weekend too,
We were
but the
just
next
talking
one,
about that. Not to cut you off again, but just talking about mixing
that's
it
fine.
up from the 7/8 stagger that feels like 90% of the people use out there. And I think we brought up Big O's or just
Yeah.
spinnerbaits in general with Clayton.
Well, I mean, I got down. That was literally the first spot. I caught that fish. I think we got there. There was thunderstorms rolling. We had to wait in the truck for about an hour and a half. Got out there, first spot, fished for like maybe 15 minutes. Got the one. Totally, the bite shut off. When the real like kind of front set in after that storm, it shut off. But yeah, that's all I could think is like, all right, we're all throwing bucktails. It's like, Clayton had like a Huntsy on and Jamie had some other, like a single eight or something like that on. It's like, all right, I got to really switch it up. If they're gonna eat blades, they're gonna eat a spinner bait. They're fishing a lot of shallow water anyways. But Jamie's the next morning actually was on a spinner bait too. It's on a drop tine growler, which is a solid bait. But the cool part about his catch, that was a nice like I think it was a 46 and a quarter. But Jamie actually just got trained to pit tag fish. So we scanned that fish. It didn't have a tag in it, and we actually pit tagged it. So we got that all on film, took a bunch of pictures on it. So that was kind of cool experience to be a part of that first ever, fish I've ever seen tagged, which was pretty sick. So, and then rolling through the day, nothing, nothing, nothing. Went to lunch, and then Clayton got one on the the potential Brian glide bait by Hammer Customs. It was on the Phil 2.0. He got a 50 and a quarter, and Clayton's been to Cave Run. He fished all Green Bay opener, and their boat cleaned up a bunch, but he didn't personally get a fish. And then he goes this whole first day of Green Bay and most of Saturday, and his first fish of the year is a 50 and a quarter. So, that's pretty that's pretty sweet that he got that thing. But yeah, that one he thought he'd there's a couple things that he thought happened, but it turns out the fish just like crushed it closer to the boat than we all thought. He set the hook like earlier than he thought. He was thinking like he thought he was snagged or something, but like the fish came up and just annihilated it. And but that was pretty cool. And we did tag that one, or we didn't have to tag it. We scanned it and had a pit tag in it, and we got the information back. So in May or early June, no, that was the last day of May it was caught. It was 50 and a quarter inches, and it was tagged from being pike netted like early May of 2023 at 49.3 inches. So it grew just about an inch in 2 years, and it's a male.
Jeez.
50-inch
Damn.
It's a
male.
giant male,
Wow.
50-inch
That is
male.
huge.
So
That is
there's
cool.
giant fish in Green Bay. I did not think males got that big.
I wonder how
Even
old that thing is.
I don't think I saw
Grew an
that
inch in 2
information.
years.
And the other
Yeah.
cool information about it is that it was pike netted early May, and this was caught in like a late May scenario. It was caught 100 yards from where it was pike netted. So within
Jeez.
100 yards, which is pretty cool. So that fish it keeps going back to the same spot probably, and then hangs out, eats, and then pieces out when the fox gets too hot. So I thought that was pretty cool information that we got out of it. Definitely I hope to be doing more of that too. I got myself a pit tag reader. A bunch of us do now through Muskie's Inc. chapter. So we're hoping to get a lot more information on our local fish that a lot of us have just figured out that they've been pit tagging for a long time, but I don't know where they're getting information from if they're getting nobody to scan them. So they're finally working with the people who actually guide and
Down there somewhere.
catch fish. So we're working on it. I know Taylor Flannery is starting to tag some fish. I think he's mainly working with Oneida County on that in particular. But either way, we're working towards getting all that types of information. I know Titletown Muskies Inc. is kind of really on top of their game for that. So huge shout out there for, Phil's part of that. Of course, Kyle Huntsader as well, Mr. Huntsy Tails. But yeah, that's kind of what I got on that. I was gonna actually share a parallel earlier with you, Alex, when you were talking about Mille Lacs. And Clayton brought it up too. When you were saying bite windows, Green Bay doesn't, like he said, those fish don't read musky hunter. They don't read the moon phases. But what you do is if you have a bunch of buddies fishing out there, you just keep your phone on ring, and every time somebody catches a fish, a bite window's open, and somebody else will catch a fish, whether it's like a mile downriver or not. Like when those fish eat down there, they just all eat. So I'm sure that's the same deal on Mille Lacs or really
Yep.
anywhere early in the season when the water's cold.
Yep. Mille Lacs, the experience of it is kind of unique. I mean, we don't all know each other, but everyone kind of see it's the same boats every year, same pile of guys, and everyone's on the program where if you get one, you gotta hoot, you holler, and, and just everyone knows right away. It's fun. I mean, if everyone, you get a fish in the bag and you yell, and then all of a sudden, like you hear boats yelling all over the place within 10 minutes of each other, and yeah, it's the same sort of program. Yeah,
Is
it's
it is
getting me
it
excited right now.
is it
Yeah,
is it
it's fun.
is it similar to the Fox in terms of like you have your main stretches on Mille Lacs where like boats will kind of clump up and not necessarily as bumper boaty, but you'll have a lot of people in one area?
Yeah, I mean, so there are a lot. I mean, the thing that people don't it gets a lot of the spots on Mille Lacs do get overlooked. Like there are spots throughout the entire lake, north to south. I mean, your majority of people are fishing the bays, on the south and the southeast sides. So and the couple of the west bays too. But there's a lot of rocky points and little inlets and cuts that just get overlooked, that hold plenty of fish throughout the lake. But in terms of like your community spots, yeah, it's basically get in line and wait for windows to open,
Yeah.
down the lines. So
hmm Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I mean that's like so that was my first ever experience on the Fox River. I've actually never been there, but from what we casted, we did troll a little bit, but like when you cast, you pretty much put your boat in like we don't have to put your boat in this depth, but you pretty much try and put your bait landing in about a foot of water, 1 to 3 feet, and then bring it out to whatever your boat's in, whether it's also in 3 or if you're in some spots, our boat was in like 25, casting up onto a shelf. They know the river in and out. All this, like, I was literally just a passenger along for the ride, lucky enough to fish out of the front, get a fish. It was pretty awesome. But fishing that is completely different. But there's trollers out there that do just as well, if not better, numbers wise. Possibly not the bigger fish always, and they fish more of like the flats and honestly in the river they'll go over like 25, 35 feet of water and keep the baits high up and catch fish. So I'd assume you get similar things happening to Mille Lacs, but you're obviously dealing with way bigger area and way less fish, and you also can't run 3 lines per person out there. So you pretty
correct,
much have
correct.
one game plan. I'm sure it's just shallow or very close to the spawning bays. And if you can't find them there, then it's really a needle in a haystack.
Yep. I mean, jumping out into the open water out there and running baits is uh, it's the biggest needle in a haystack. So, I mean, it didn't used to be like that a long time ago. And you bring up pit tagging and scanning that you guys are now doing over there. That's really intriguing, really cool. And I love following along to the Titletown page too on social media. They really do have things going well over there, running that. It's pretty cool to see. But we're starting to get a lot more science done over here as well with pit tagging and I'm actually trying to get a hold of one of those scanners myself for these Minnesota fish. Um, this year for Leech Lake, which is like the core of our Leech Lake stocking program. They're doing a new study now where they want everybody to clip the anal fins, and they have drop box locations for them, and along with a form for every catch, at all like the Leech Lake resorts and the public accesses. And I don't know exactly where they all are, but there's a bunch of drop boxes throughout the lake, and forms you can pick up at those drop boxes, along
Hmm.
with materials to actually snip the fins that they're going to start doing studies on. And you provide them with the information on whether it was caught in the open water or on structure and weeds and et cetera, et cetera. Because there's been a lot of talk, with the pressure out there and what it's doing to the fisheries and the live scoping and all that stuff. But so a lot more science going into these fish around here as well this year. So kind of following along with that and seeing what becomes.
Seems
That's
like a lot of
pretty
good stuff
awesome.
coming out of Minnesota lately.
Yeah, we have a new long range musky plan that was just it's been many years into the making. A lot of work done by researchers like the Camden Glade and a bunch of other guys that they've really done a lot to work with the Minnesota DNR and legislature finally to get things going for a long range plan. And the core of their plan is to basically bring back like the the big lakes in Minnesota, Mille Lacs, Vermilion, and Minnetonka for starters. And I think that I think that I think it's a heck of a plan. And I think that it might take 10, 15, 20 years to get it back to how it should be. But I think that those lakes are gonna be flourishing again if this plan works as
Hmm.
it is currently designed.
Well,
That's sweet.
it's
Exciting
like a
stuff.
way to. I feel like you were probably the one to bring it up, or it was definitely somebody from Minnesota that we had on about talking on displacing the pressure, where when these big fisheries like Vermilion and Mille Lacs and whatnot have gone downhill, the amount of people that don't go there now and then go to the smaller lakes in Minnesota and just blast them apart, getting pressure on lakes that you probably have never seen because I know yourself is also, semi young like us, but you've been fishing forever, so you've seen, different days of certain lakes.
Yep,
So that's
yep. I
exciting
mean, the
to
the pressure. I
put
mean,
it
it's
back there.
the yeah pressure. Minnesota lakes, especially in the smaller lake, they are receiving just unimaginable pressure nowadays. And I hope for the best for the fish, and I hope that all this research that's coming out this year and the plan. I think that like you said, hopefully a lot of the fish get dispersed, a couple new waters on the program as well. And if they can just recover the big lakes, then it naturally will work itself out with all the surrounding smaller lakes. And I think that they can do that. I mean, honestly, Mille Lacs I mean, it has such potential. The way it used to be in the glory days, the 90s, early 2000s it was unbelievable. I mean, 5, 6, 7 fish days, very, very common, along with just enormous fish. And I think that if they can bring that back, that lake can hold a lot of pressure, so can Vermilion, so can Minnetonka. So you get you even Leech too. You recover the big lakes, and that will work itself out throughout the whole state, I think.
Yeah, it feels too like, I mean, for the size of what Mille Lacs is, I mean, it just get it back to fishable. It feels like, like pe where people can take a day trip and go there and feel like they actually have a chance to go,
Exactly.
catch a
Exactly.
fish
Yeah.
or two.
you think of like fishing July and on Mille Lacs, and it's like or August, and it's like, oh, I mean, there's chances and possibilities out there, but it's not like, yeah, there used to be just mass tourism there for it,
Right.
and yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. A lot of education going around too, with how to how to fish for them ethically and how to handle fish, most importantly. And that's good too. It's good to see all that going around. So we'll see. See what happens this year and what becomes. But
Yeah, for what seemed like a lot of doom and gloom on the overall state of Minnesota fisheries, feels like that's kind of changed the tune of things a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. But I don't know. Good to see some actionable items being taken place here, which is nice, I
yep.
would say.
Yeah, love to see it. Should we roll another on the line? We got one
Sure.
fired
Alex,
up
can you
here.
not hear the on the lines?
No, I didn't hear it. I don't know if it's just like a certain audio that you guys have wired in,
Really?
or my external audio, everything's good. I hear all you guys.
Do you have
You
like
guys heard it
Gus's
right though,
screen
right? Brian
muted?
Max?
I heard it, yeah.
I don't
Alex,
have
click on
any.
the top. It says mute Gus's computer sound. I don't know if that's your problem.
Um,
Do you see his screen?
I see this screen right. I'm looking at the screen he's sharing right now.
Yeah, his email. And then at the top it says Gus Mantew's screen. Click on the
Yep.
three dots.
Okay.
Mute Gus's computer sound. Do you have that on or anything?
Nope.
Hmm.
So that's
That's
I'll mute it
odd.
now and then now I will uncheck it. Yeah, it's very strange. I didn't hear anything. So I don't know.
Dang.
It's okay.
It was about Brian. So yeah, all
I
right.
had an
We'll
idea
fill
as
it.
to what was going on there, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
you
I'll
just listen
listen to
back.
it later. Yeah.
It should go. I mean, I'll double check and go back into the recording, but I got it now so that Zoom can just fully put out the sound, so I don't have to edit in later, which is what we kind of used to do when we first started on the line. But let's throw a quick one from our buddy Nate Budd from Pittsburgh. Shout out the Musky Hunks and
Weekly caller.
our favorite weekly caller.
Hi, this is Nate Budd from Pittsburgh. Hey, this is a question for Max. I was just curious. I know you've been posting fish pictures. I think I heard you caught one, but I don't believe it's true. I don't know if that's stolen valor or something, because I believe you were supposed to FaceTime me when you caught your first muskie of the year, and I didn't get no FaceTime call. I'll hang up and listen to your response. Thanks. Love the show.
Love the show.
I'm actually glad you addressed that, Nate. Yeah, like I mentioned, it actually is my Norwegian twin brother Axe that's actually taken my place in the fishing boat to start the year here. So when I get a fish, you will be the first one that I FaceTime. Just trust.
Axel?
All right. No, his name is Axe from Norway.
Oh, okay.
Axe
Yeah.
and Max.
Yeah, he looks very similar to me.
A little bit bigger.
Could argue he's even a better stick than I am. Yeah, he's a little bigger than me, actually. He looks a little fatter in some of those pictures.
Yeah. That's just Axe.
Way more thin than Axe, but yeah, that's just Axe. It's that Norwegian diet, a lot of carbs over there.
So yeah.
Appreciate you checking in though, Nate.
Appreciate you. Alex, could you hear that one or?
Yep. I heard that all good. So
Sweet. All right. Well, then this one's going to be directed at
catching some fish.
Yeah. This one will be directed at all of us, and I'm curious to see what you guys got to say. Brian, Max, unless you didn't listen to it yet. I know Max and I've
No,
already
I kept it secret.
I have not
Alright.
listened to it.
Oh, you did not? All right. I'm the only one, so let's let it rip.
Good evening, gentlemen. This is Kyle Fregis with Beyond the Eight. First-time caller, long-time listener to the podcast. 6 foot, 190 pounds. And for those keeping track, yes, that is down 10 pounds from the Wausau Muskie Expo.
Shut
Before
up.
we get into my question here, I have a preliminary question for you guys. I'd like to request a moniker. I'd like my moniker to be the walleyes are eating all the muskies guy. I'll repeat that. The walleyes are eating all the muskies guy. So if you could do that for me, that would be appreciated. I don't believe that one is taken yet. Well, let's jump into my question here. So this might be controversial to some, and it's a topic that I honestly think has been too controversial to skirt the Facebook pages and the forums and all of the various hot button topics that are so rigorously beat to death on those social media platforms. But we've all been there. You've captured a beautiful, dark, musky, generally out of the northern stained waters of Wisconsin, or you've captured a bright, almost pale-looking, vibrant, toned muskie. Some refer to them as blondes. So I just got to know, boys, and this is controversial, again, what do you prefer, brunettes or blondes? I'll hang up and listen.
Mm.
Hey,
you want to
what a
weigh in on that?
question. Yeah, that's tough. I mean,
Because you're
I
after
haven't
him every
caught.
weekend.
I
Brian, you
haven't.
ever bagged a blondie?
Yeah, as I say, I haven't caught any blondes. I'm really, but look. I'm a simple guy. I'm in favor of both as long as they're thick type.
You're just a
That's my only
stained
drill.
water fisherman through and through. I mean, you like to get down and dirty in the muddy waters, grind
Pause.
out for the
Yep.
big girl.
Pause.
Pause.
Badass white fish. That's what I'm all here for.
Pav. Are you kidding me? Some will get that reference, maybe, maybe not.
Huh. How
Oh
about you,
man.
gentlemen over there? All quiet about blondes and brunettes. Let's hear it.
What even was your answer again?
Just as long as they're thick.
Oh, okay. That's right.
That's crazy.
That might be the most least controversial answer. I think we all agree with that.
Gus is getting all shy over there, not saying much, stuttering.
No, man. I mean, like Brian said, we like them thick for sure.
God
I
damn.
don't know, man. I mean, we grew up always kind of going after them brunettes, but lately been on that blonde kick, trying to get that, clear
Yeah.
water blondie,
Mm-hmm.
the one that roams the depths, the
Mm-hmm.
harder to get ones,
Yeah.
What we can't have is kind of what we want, like it's if they're harder to get, that's what we want. So that's
Mm-hmm.
my answer.
Yeah, sometimes it's more fun to chase them than to actually catch them.
That's facts.
Yeah.
That's
Brian knows
well
a thing
said,
or two.
Max.
Chasing tail over there. Chasing tail. Max
What's
or
your
Alex?
answer, Max?
Yeah, no, I feel you. I don't know those brunettes over there. They're fighters. They're fun to go, but yeah, as my wife sits in the room right next to me here, she's a beautiful brunette, but I gotta say, those
Oh boy.
those blondes are a rush out there when they get real blonde.
You got some explaining to do, brother. If she's listening.
Good question. Good question. Walleyes are eating all the musky guy.
Thanks, guy.
Thanks, guy. Shout out Beyond the Eight.
Yeah, shout out Kyle. He'll be joining us on the lax at the cabin this year, so should be a
Nice.
great time. And I'm hoping he gets a big one.
Yeah,
Oh,
big
yeah.
blondie.
Big
Yeah,
Max,
big
what's
blonde.
your
blondie.
answer?
Oh yeah.
Big blonde for sure.
Big blonde. Let's go.
All right.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
a good answer. Probably a good answer for
You
you.
want what you can't have. Yeah. Hey, whoa. Hey,
Whoa, guys, jeepers.
relax over there, guy. Yeah, I'm starting to get some FOMO, Alex, that maybe we might be making the wrong decision here. I don't know. Hard to say.
Are you gonna give it at midnight, Max, when you go out, or what was your plan?
No.
Oh, come on.
No.
What you mean by
No.
that?
No, I ran a lot
The
of
9 to 5?
my hours 2 weekends ago, and we got some big weekends coming up. So,
Max, are you going Tonka or Secret Spot?
we're just going to a lake
Secret
south of the
sauce.
city, I think, but I'm
Gotcha.
not entirely sure on that. Could be west, south, east. I'm not
Yeah.
entirely sure in the
Might
coordinates
pull an
quite yet.
audible.
Yeah, I'm along for the ride on Saturday. Really looking forward to getting out on the boat with Ryan. It was a blast. Good cabin chemistry there down a cave. Nice having you and Ryan as an addition here this year to the trail. So yeah, should be fun to get on the boat with him and then have you guys up to Eagle River here in a couple weeks. Be a good
Yeah,
time.
I think it'll just keep getting more fun. It's a great group of guys. Great legs at the tournament this year. Eagle River, your guys' home, and right up here to my home in Bemidji. I think it's gonna be a fun summer.
Absolutely.
Max,
Absolutely.
what's the first? I know you took home some baits back to Minneapolis with you. What's the first bait you're clipping on? And it better
We
be
got
what I'm thinking.
You got two setups. What are you throwing on the rip pause and what are you throwing on the straight retrieve?
What am I throwing on the 10'6" Tranks PG to start the day? Tranks
Or the
500
or the
or
10'6" strengths HG
the
500.
absolute two muzzle loaders put in the back of the car to start Saturday. Man, that is tough, gentlemen. Brian, you're saying that you have something in mind that I should be starting with
Yeah, you
here.
gotta you gotta see if you're on a real heater with this bait. You gotta test it out right off the bat.
Should I go back to the swim fin or the
Yeah,
tube or what?
you gotta run that swim fin until it dies.
Do I have a swim fin with me? I think I have one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I got one.
gold orange belly.
Right,
Hmm.
right. Yeah, I'll either be throwing that. I mean, realistically, I'm probably just gonna start out with a nice big old Huntsy tail banger.
Yeah.
So
That ought to get
hopefully
it done.
those those Minnesota fish haven't seen too many bangers quite yet, but I'm sure they've started to make their way over this way.
A little bit. I mean, they're just erupting in Wisconsin. I mean, they're getting
Yeah, they
Kyle's
are.
getting just like
Yeah.
bombarded with store orders. I mean, there's stores that are ordering like 190 from him and like
Jeez.
Yeah. I've been seeing like, pictures on Facebook or something just now from, you want more friends on Facebook in the musk community, just put your profile picture as you holding a muskie and it's just like just a crazy amount of friend requests of other people holding muskies and it's like muskie, yeah, all right, sounds good. So anyways, I've been when I like scroll through it, I'll like see a picture and it'll be like caught on a Hunzy tail and it'll be somebody like I don't even know who they are or where they're fishing and it just feels like I see it all the time.
yeah.
It's crazy. So
I had
yeah,
close. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I'll probably start with one of the bigger Huntsy tails. Got some really cool colors. I mean, I got the Suggs juice box one I might start with, depending
Shout
on if
out.
it's cloudy. If it's sunny, I'll probably go something copper, silver type
You got some
blades,
walleye
like
ones
black
and
skirt, something
you
like
got
that.
that didn't you get that one of the Green Bay specials, like the gold blades, black gold skirt with the white banger on the back?
Yes. Yeah, got
That looks
that
pretty
one.
good.
That one looks good. So probably just start with the banger and then do some rubber in the afternoon. Call it a day.
Yeah.
See what
Shout out.
happens.
I know the Suggs juice box color, a good buddy of mine. Shout out Sean. He was out on Fox on opener. I got two pictures sent to me before we even woke up for our opener that he already caught two on a Suggs juice box banger. Well,
Damn.
for sure
Nice.
one of them, and I think he sent the second one as we were loading up.
Nice. Shout out,
So,
Sean.
yeah, I know you can get some at some point, I think Guide's Choice here in town, which I don't know if we've discussed it all yet, but they got new owners. It's Fred and Friend Jr. are going to be there. They're going to
Fred
get
and
a bunch
Fred
of
June.
Fred and Friend Jr. Yeah.
No way. Red June. When did that happen?
Like
I
two
didn't know
months
they
ago
got
or
new owners.
something.
Oh, hell
Pretty
yeah.
recent, or maybe I don't. It's been recent.
How old's
Um,
Fred June?
I'm not sure.
Like
I
13,
think
14, or is he like
no,
Yeah,
no,
a
I
no. I
hope
think
he's
he's more
like
like
13.
no, no. He's more like our age, a little
oh,
younger, maybe.
oh,
Nice.
nice.
Yeah,
Shout
Just
out
a
Fred
just a
June.
boy to chill with. That's cool.
yeah.
Gotta be nice for you right down the block now. You're finally welcome back.
Yeah, it's closest shop. Haven't been there in over a decade.
Yeah, after Max
For sure.
tainted your family name there, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild.
Whoops.
Everyone's had an experience there, but no, it's I'm looking forward to going there more, of course. So it's good to have a good local shop with a lot of options. So um, good to
Right
see
on.
Guys Choice back.
Absolutely. All right.
Uh,
Any other final questions here for Alex while we got him on the line?
I was just gonna
Hmm.
ask him, yeah, if he's got any other thoughts, anything to get off his chest, important info for opener.
Not really. I'm excited for the season. Going to be a lighter season for me than most. Basically, just concentrating on all the different tournaments this year and the PMTT, and then getting a whole lot of housework done. In terms of opener, I expect a pretty quality bite statewide. I think that things will be off and running right away. And I guess good luck to everybody out there. I'll see you out there.
Yeah, just for those that are going out, it looks like we're getting some nice mid 70s, like you said, light variable winds,
Which
potential
what direction?
think south, switching from the north the day prior. So
That's good.
um yeah,
Yep.
looks
Very
like it's a
good.
little south wind change that morning from a northeast wind the day before, changing sometime that morning. A little temperature pickup, and yeah, I think it's you really couldn't draw up any other better
If
comfortable weather.
if it holds as forecasted, it should be as it should be a good bite. Should be great.
Right on.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got one last question here, and Alex, I don't know if you were in on it much when they were out, but are you a fan of the Bushlight apple, the Bapple, now that it's back?
Oh,
Is that in the lineup, or are you just kind of disregarding it, or what's your
when
thoughts?
in
Because I got some
season,
opinions.
yeah, when in season, that is actually not only in the lineup, but that is the number one uh
Wow.
Hmm.
starting lineup.
Wow.
So I am a big fan of the Bapples. Yeah, I think they just slightly outshine the peaches. I
Woof.
know, I
Definitely.
know.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Easy, big fellas. Easy
I'd
there.
probably agree
I
with that.
looking
but
at
Are
the
the
minority right here.
are the
I got
apples what am I trying to
oh
say?
oh yeah.
Seasonal right now? Are they here for good or what's the deal?
Are apples seasonal right now
Uh,
in May, in June?
no, dude, I'm talking the bush. Are they here for good?
They feel like a fall drink. I'm not sure
That's
why
what I'm
they
saying.
came out now. It
Are
should be
they
the
like
peach to
staying all
start,
year?
and then Bapples to taper off the summer into fall, you know. They're here to
Yeah.
stay this year, and I think they probably ended at some point like they did the peach. But
How do you think the apple flavoring gets into the beer, Brian?
That's what I'm worried about. Like, how are they getting them in May? They got to be outsourced in Argentina or something. Those things
you're
haven't even sprung yet.
you're a world nations guy.
I'd like to
Just
get some feedback on that if you actually dig in.
yeah.
yeah, Brian. I think you need to
He's
make
not
some
only
calls.
he's our math guy, he's our imports exports guy,
Geography,
Merch God.
imports,
geography, merch,
exports, tariff,
I don't
apple
know what
tariff.
Brian doesn't do around here.
seasonal fruits and vegetables guy.
Foreign affairs,
Foreign affairs.
Glide bait
chemistry.
hater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I'm going to bed, gents. Long night.
Alrighty.
Alrighty,
Uh,
I think we've covered a lot here in this podcast. So thanks again, Alex, for popping on. Kind of last minute. We kind of wanted to get a little insight on the Minnesota opener. And we had to do a little rearranging of the Mott schedule here, but we got some fire guests lined up to keep the summer rolling. Well, spring still, I guess. But yeah, appreciate your time coming on here, and we wish the best of luck to you and your crew out on Mille Lacs to get a big one.
Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure, guys, and look forward to hanging out on the trail all year. So
Can't wait
Can't
to have
wait.
you.
Sweet.
All
Thanks,
right,
Wade, Brad.
caller, good.
All
Brian, take
right,
it away.
everybody. Thank you for listening to this episode of Muskies on Tap. Shout out to Alex McLean for coming on this week, last minute to come down and lay the facts down for y'all on Minnesota big blonde girls. Make sure to go chase after them this weekend, guys. Get up in their crib, throw them those shiny blades. They'll be sure to chomp down on it. Good luck out there. Stay safe. Peace.